Deep in your warm waters, stardust impregnated your womb, and I was born. Bonded to you then, remembering you now, O joyful Mother's Day. I knew you as creatrix, moon, sun, and stars, and sat in your tree of wisdom among the snakes and birds, and smelled the air, and became strong, conscious, and loved. I was almost destroyed when you were scarped, and I was left helpless at the soul of violence. O unhappy knowledge! I have walked such a dry road, but I have found you, and we wept, as did Persephone and Demeter. May your winged spirit soar free, and your story be told, and peace be in your body before we are all stardust. Amen and joy, O found Mother. That is the culmination of what I have learned in the women's spirituality movement, including the hypotheses and theories that sit at the postgraduate level in programs at institutes of higher learning versus the hard work that circle facilitators do outside academia to understand and remember the traditions of the goddess. Not all of us choose to be a sage. Not all of us choose to walk that hard path of spirituality. So it is ethical and right that those of us that do tell the most truthful story we know. So what is that? Theology, it's the study of the divine, or it's Thea versus her son Theo. Theology, which is the study of God, which emerged out of the last 5,000 years of patriarchy. We as women need to step back into time, returning to time that's probably 100,000 years old at the least, which is a story primarily about women, venerating women, and our religions and faith and values. So this new textbook is a culmination of work done by experts in the field that came out of the cohort I was involved with at an institution of higher learning, which are emerging subjects for all of us. And I want to honor those contributors. There's 12 of us that are majorly involved, but of course there are many, many more women that we look to, including women such as Max Dashu that we honor. Or I can go on and on and on, and I hope you will read it because there's so many more women involved, leaders and spiritualists and activists and foremothers and way showers. And this book hopefully will be a link between what is personal and spiritual experience for each individual, and not requiring, unless they wish to leave their traditions, but to reform their tradition. If you have a book club or you're a circle facilitator, this is a book to use to broaden what you're doing, or in a case of a book club, to discuss these theories and experts. For religion or for philosophy, again, it's a book to assist one to add or reform or challenge. You may draw the same conclusions, but at least it's a dialogue about what was taken out of our stories. And then for a psychologist, it may be a way of introducing spirituality. For ritualists, it's a way of finding information to add to those rituals, maybe through the blood theme. And for the BA student or instructor that did not receive this information when they were going through their academic program, it's designed to fill in the missing pieces. So hopefully we've all accomplished that participated in this project.
When you are in the ritual space and in the ritual moment, whether you do it consciously or not, there is some kind of great stuff that happens, a kind of creativity and power. And when you do it in a group, in a group situation, when you're able to harness that kind of energy, wow, stuff really happens, and it gets bigger and multiplied and very exciting. And really, the more you look at women's rituals, the more you find, and all rituals, you find blood at the center of these rituals. And in our work in the Self-Help Clinic, one of the aspect of our work was a little known, very isolated practice of menstrual extraction. And it was before the Supreme Court legalized abortion. And menstrual extraction was a practice that we developed in our menstrual extraction groups, which were circles of women who did self-examination together. We looked at our cervixes, we gave each other pelvic exams and felt our uteruses. And menstrual extraction in that setting was a way that we could suck out our periods on a monthly basis for our own reasons. And our own reasons were research was a big one. Birth control was another one. If you had an implanted egg at the end of this process, you probably didn't. And if we missed it and you didn't want to be pregnant, well, we just did it again and made sure you weren't. So in my looking back on it, I interviewed women who did menstrual extraction, including my mom and me and the others, and took those narratives about what we did, less than the narratives about why we said we did it. Because no one said they did it thinking they were doing a ritual. And the only one among us that even knew what a menstrual ritual was our Native American member. And she had a menstrual practice, actually, a real bona fide menstrual practice from her own tradition. But even she didn't think of menstrual extraction as a tradition. She thought of it as a medical practice, even though it was a political action for most of us. Most of us, it was a political action. It's like when you're not able to even look or touch your own body, you can believe some really wild and weird stuff. And as a woman who did self-exam and traveled around the country doing it, and part of the highlight of my life was laying on my back, having women come look at my cervix and look at them and see the kind of expression and trip out they went through. The women who just looked and said, "Oh my God, I thought it was a black hole." How many women thought it was empty? That they were going to look and see something that wasn't there. And the fact that there's actually something there was such a stunning surprise.